Catholic Marketing Network. You may have heard him on the radio. He's off and on with Tom Price at the Catholic Marketing Network events, and has been very, very connected to EWTN over the years, and a good friend to Guadalupe Radio Network as well. Let me bring Al Napleton into the conversation. Catholic Marketing Network founder, president, director, grand poobah. What exactly is on your card, Al?
All of those
Oh,
things.
yeah.
All of those things.
Not grand poobah, though, right?
Not grand poobah, because I can't spell it, so that's not on there.
I can hardly say it. So how you doing?
Good, Dave. How are you doing? It's
Yeah,
good
this
to
is a
see you.
surprise, when I talked to Martha yesterday, and she was telling me who was going to be out here, and I was like, oh, wow, Al Napleton. I didn't realize your office is right down the street here.
Well, I didn't either. Deacon Pat, who, again, I've known for a number of years and has worked, we've worked together on the Catholic Marketing Network, told me about the broadcast, and you're right, we are less than a half a mile down on the same road. So It's been a blessing to meet Dr. Lau and Martha, and know that we've got good friends and good Catholic friends so close.
All right. If people haven't been paying attention too much when you've been on the air with EWTN and at the Marketing Network events and all that, what is the CMN, Catholic Marketing Network? What's your mission, purpose, and what do you do?
Part of this is also what we're seeing here today, the networking that goes on. I think that's wonderful and not a surprise to see that in Dr. Cal and Martha's sponsorship of Catholic Radio, that also helps their practice. When I began doing this almost 25 years ago, I noticed that the evangelicals, the Jewish community, they do a great job in networking and supporting one another. And that is something that we try to do specifically with several hundred Catholic manufacturers, publishers, suppliers, and a couple thousand primarily Catholic book and gift stores that are operated all over the country. There was a real disconnect between them. So that's one of the things that we do with the CMN. We're also trying to do more of the networking, because there are a lot of wonderful things going on with the church, as you know.
Yeah.
And oftentimes those associations, those activities, which are primarily started by lay people, aren't aware of what each other are doing.
Yeah.
So we're also working in that area to try to connect, because with that networking, with that connectivity, there's real opportunity for the ministry and the business to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would think, this church has been around for 2,000 years, so you would have thought that we would have had the networking and thing down, but there's still a lot of work to do. I remember talking to you one time, Al, and I'm paraphrasing, but you had mentioned that sometimes Catholic businesses, especially if they're directly involved in ministry, like a bookstore or something like that, sometimes there's almost a feeling like if you make money, there's something wrong with that, or if you're doing business as other businesses are, there's something wrong with it. Do you think there's a little bit of Catholic guilt in the Catholic businesses about making money and thriving and succeeding?
I don't know if I would call it Catholic guilt, but that issue does come up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's money and religion make strange bedfellows. So it's hard to get that correct. Mm-hmm. And probably nobody gets it less correct than we Catholics. So now, in our situation in the Catholic world, most of the business ministries are struggling. Mm-hmm. So unlike perhaps in the evangelical world, where you have this multi-billion-dollar vertically integrated set of activities, most activities and ministries are struggling. But even though they're struggling, because with the CMN, that is one thing we try to do. You got to have a good business if you're going to have a good ministry. Mm-hmm. If you can't pay the rent to the landlord and such, the store shuts down. So it is a subject that we've dealt with, and it's a challenge.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the other challenges that the Catholic Church has is that it's a very hierarchical and highly structured organization. And a lot of people, even with Catholic Radio, they think, well, the diocese is funding you, right? Yeah. And they figure since there is a hierarchy, that the hierarchy is taking care of everything. And it happens with evangelization as well. Some people think, well, it's all up to the priests and the deacons and the Pope and the bishops to do all the evangelization. But no, the lay people need to jump in. The lay people need to start apostolates. The lay people like Catholic Radio and what you're doing. It's lay started, it's lay run. and people need to know that this is not being funded. Nothing's being funded by the hierarchical church, which they have their own obligations, like what we're talking about today. They got to pay for seminarians, and they got to pay for things of their own. Alan, I was just going to ask you one more question before I let you go about your involvement with EWTN. I know a number of years ago there were all these, I think you said 7 in a year of these family celebrations, which I think was highlighting a particular milestone for EWTN. They're still doing the family celebrations. Is the Catholic Marketing Network still involved directly with those?
We are. It's been a blessing in my life to be able to work with EWTN. I first started working with them almost 20 years ago when I was working with CCC of America. This is the company that produces those beautiful animated videos on the lives of the saints, and worked with EWTN to have those broadcast and such, and met Mike Warsaw and some of the folks down there. And so when this was, I guess, 8 years ago, when EWTN was celebrating their 25th anniversary, as part of that celebration, they wanted to hold 7 events all over the country, culminating with an event there in Birmingham. So I enjoy event planning and organizing them, either for my organization or for others. So began to help with that, really kind of back of the house type of work, but important work, finding locations and hotels and facilities that can rig a stage and prepare for broadcast and things like that. Now they've continued to hold those. Earlier this year we held one in Vancouver, Canada, and then another one in Birmingham, which they also included. You've been to Birmingham and out to visit the monastery and the network and all those elements, and want to continue doing that. They're looking right now with the World Meeting of Families coming up to perhaps do something in conjunction with the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. Archbishop Chaput is on their board and such, so that's in the discussion stage. But I think my impression are that they really want to continue these events, at least doing 1 or 2 a year into the future.
Yeah, it's amazing what EWTN is doing with their new News Nightly program now with Brian Patrick, and her Doug Keck is now on the radio every morning, well, once a week with Teresa Tomeo. They never kind of let the grass grow under their feet. I mean, they're always doing something. They're always growing and expanding, and it's exciting to watch, and God bless them. So, Al Napleton, thank you so much. If people want to learn about Catholic Marketing Network, what's your website?
CatholicMarketing.com.
Okay, now the average person, if they're a small business person and they have a Catholic shop like, here at Midcities Dental, can you be of service to them?
Not at this time, but that is something we want to do. We've been primarily a B2B organization, which the 2 Bs in this particular case might mean Catholic publishers and Catholic catalogers, stores, and distributors. But with the internet, everyone has a B2C application. So we're trying to figure out exactly how we can do that. I think the next phase of the CMN will probably even be more of an emphasis on the B2C than the B2B.
All right. To be or not to be or not to be, that is whatever. Yeah. I just felt like I got some marketing lesson that I didn't understand.
Okay.
No, okay, B2B. Well, what's A?
Adam, I guess. I'm not sure. There's got to be an A after something.
Okay, the B2B, and then we got to bring in the C, right?
Yeah. David, also, congratulations on the great work, Catholic Radio.
Okay.
It's really one of the wonderful, really lay movements that you see going on. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much. Alan Napleton there. The website again, Catholic Marketing Network?
CatholicMarketing.com.
Okay, CatholicMarketing.com.